it's very difficult anywhere to encounter someone who's going to meet all of us. Even someone who loves us a lot, say our life partner or spouse, only knows part of us. They may not know our work part, or the sports we do with our buddies, or our intellectual pursuits. So what we attempt to do with integral coaching, and it's been going pretty well so far, is develop coaches who have a kind of openness and a sensitivity to appreciate the fullness of a person, and then have a way of taking that in and then responding back. And it's actually quite an extraordinary experience for clients to have all of themselves met.
We talk about working with the whole person. What is the whole person? Well, I really see that in many different layers as the years go on.
One considers them as a whole human being with a head, a heart, a body that has an inner world and an outer world of relationships and, things and nature, but an inner world that has, their beliefs and their thoughts and feelings.
I am going to ask my client to take a look at an issue from 6 specific arenas. I'm going to ask them to take a look at the way they think about it, the way they feel about it, the way they sense it physically, the way they relate to it and others, the way, meaning as in a relationship, the way they are connected to it spiritually, and then the way they can carry that thread through all of those.
The methodology, because it allows us a very systematic and integrated way of assessing our clients and designing a very unique program for the uniqueness of each one, it's simple and yet complete.
Part of the methodology is where are we now and how are we seeing ourselves in the world. Another part of the methodology is to create collectively a new story, a new narrative, as we call it here, of who am I, who are others, and what is it that I am to do? And how is it that my current story is limiting me from getting to where I want to go?
It's not our circumstances that really shape the possibilities for our lives. It's our interpretation of them and what we see as possibility. And then the action that is driven from how we see that. So as integral coaches, we're really trying to help people to be able to see how they're taking in their lives and give them new insight, and then how do we actually provide them with practices and ways to support themselves so they can really embody that change.
We often say that our methodology is based on the answer to the 3 questions of what is a human being, what does it take to develop a human being, and what is our theory of change? How does change not just get initiated, but how is change sustained?
There's a path that as integral coaching coaches, we teach everyone to design practices, a path for a student. So many coaches learn episodic coaching, which means each session is an individual iteration, but there's no through line. There might be the through line of the goals, but there isn't a developmental path.
It's a unique process to each person. To me, that's why sometimes it's hard to pin down. We have models, we pull on neurobiology, we pull on linguistics. Of course, there's 20th century philosophy, there's Eastern spirituality. So we can talk about those, but that doesn't really, in some ways, that doesn't answer what it is, right? Because what it is happens in the cauldron of the relationship between the 2 people.
So what that means for coaching is it doesn't help to have a cookie cutter approach. We don't have okay, this is a person from Georgia, we pull out the Georgia template and coach. So what it means is that as coaches, we have to be so attuned to all of what can show up and recognize ourselves also as being different. And so that the assessment and the design has to be so refined that it fits for the client or the student in a way that it's customized, and it's like this glove is just for their hand. And they know it. They feel it.
In integral coaching, we are not working with people to only help them be better at doing something. This is not about being more effective in the world, right? It's partly that. But if you stop there, then it's leaving out a huge element of the work we do, which is much more around what is life asking of them, right? How can they bring their skills and talents forward to serve, right? Whether you're a leader in a company, whether you're staying at home with your children, it really doesn't matter. But we're wanting to help people have more freedom in their being, not just be able to, knock off the to-do list faster.
It provides a palette of choices for them to understand a situation and then actually approach the situation to bring about some freedom, some flexibility and freedom.
It's finding a way of broadening the range so that we don't just live in a narrow fixed way, that we actually have a broader range of responses to life.
It's magnificent because it's this unlocking of human potential. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
One of the indications that integral coaching is going really well is the client is feeling more free. They feel like they have more options, more choices, less constraints, and that not only are they in an experience of freedom, but their experience of freedom and their ability to be free keeps expanding. And the other part is the emotional state people are in, or the mood people are in, which is joy, which is an unusual experience for us to have. Joy is the experience of being in many, many, many possibilities. It seems to me just like plants are always turning towards the light, human beings always turn towards being seen as themselves, not seen as a good worker or a good provider or a good athlete or a good artist or good anything, but just as themselves. And when we are seen as ourselves, we bloom, we really come into ourselves.
And what I've realized more and more is that when people get deeply connected to themselves and they begin to form their values for living from there, instead of being drawn in any number of different directions that people get drawn into, that they're more fulfilled in life, and in a way they show up as a support for others.
Their essence becomes brighter and brighter, and all that is not them, right, which is societal messages, our culture, the persona, which we all have, it melts a bit.
I think I at first thought, are people ready for this? Will they really embrace this? And what I found is that people are thirsting for this. They are really, this is the kind of missing piece.
In the professional coaching course, we ask people to spend some time in the beginning of the year, and we do have them focus on themselves, because this is fundamental to the work that we do. Having the self-awareness, having the ability to self-observe, self-correct, having the ability to build your own network of support, and to experience what is it like to be coached? What is it like to be brand new at something? What is it like to be in territory where you do not know how to do something? You do not know what to do next. You do not know. So that is an important experience for us as coaches.
Integral coaching isn't something to learn, although there's books we give people to learn and models that people learn. It's more a way of living or a way of viewing life, or a way of being open to life, a way of being. And the real backbone of a class is the individual development plan that each person gets.
It's equally balanced on the theoretical underpinnings of the methodology and the development of the coach and the practice with the clients. And for me, that the integration of those three is critical. And it's through the integration of the three that the students or the coaches to be become who they are. They become a coach in the world with a voice of their own.
One of the first things I usually say at the beginning of the class is, our task as faculty is for you to catch on to how wonderful you are. And everyone sort of, yeah, that's, next. But by the end of the year, like in the certification process I was just in last weekend, that happened for each of the 18 people. Each of the 18 people had a deep encounter with their wonderfulness, their beauty, the mystery of themselves.
A part of the wonderment of being an integral coach is discovering our own uniqueness and then offering that uniqueness in partnership as our clients discover their own uniqueness.
What happens when people enter deeply into integral coaching is they find their calling. They find, as it were, what they've been born to do.
And what I notice is that as coaches come through the school, that they're all up to something. They want to make a difference in the lives of other people.
Life is short. This isn't a dress rehearsal, and we have to fully embrace. And so it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey.
When I see what can happen for my students and my clients, I know what I was put on the planet for.